On this episode of the Press Rewind Prince Lyrics podcast, I'll be covering the fourth and final Sheila E. performed song that was pulled for the Originals project, and that is Holly Rock. Prince's version, the one featured on the album, was recorded in April of 1985, around the time Prince was finalizing songs for Sheila's second album, Romance 1600. And while the song was not included on Romance 1600, it was included as part of the Krush Groove soundtrack. Krush Groove was a movie that co-starred Sheila E. along with other notable rap groups and artists of the time like Fat Boys, LL Cool J, Run DMC, Curtis Blow. It's got Russell Simmons and Rick Rubin. It's basically a big old Def Jam commercial, although Sheila was not on Def Jam Records, so her inclusion is interesting and also pretty cool, considering she was part of the Prince camp at the time, and to get plucked to be a part of this story about record company and this essentially a commercial for Def Jam artists and other rap groups. It's pretty fun. It also stars Blair Underwood, who would go on to star on LA Law later in his career. But yeah, Krush Groove was a fun movie from the mid 80s, definitely a time capsule kind of movie, and the soundtrack included a song written and produced by Prince and performed by Sheila E., and that's Holly Rock. The movie came out in October of 85, and the soundtrack preceded it by about a month. It was released in September of 85. Holly Rock was released as a single later, not until spring of 86. It was either the fourth single or the fifth single. Records that I find seem to vary. Wikipedia says it was the fourth single from Krush Groove, and Prince Vault calls it the fifth single. So I don't know which one's correct. Nonetheless, it was not like the lead single, and the movie was already about 6 months old before the song was released as a single. Sheila E. was definitely having a moment in late 85, early 86. A Love Bazaar, her third single from the Romance 1600 album, her second album, was climbing up the charts in early 86. She had just starred in Krush Groove, and now she had a single from that soundtrack. Love Bazaar ended up going to number 11 on the pop charts and number 2 on the R&B charts. It had enough longevity to end up being one of the top 100 Billboard singles of the year, even though it didn't even crack the top 10, but it must have, again, stayed on the charts for quite a few weeks in order to be considered that strong of a single. And both of those songs, I Love Bazaar and Holly Rock, are featured in the movie. Of course, Love Bazaar was not on the soundtrack. Holly Rock was. But they were both either released as singles or incorporated into a film that was popular in late 85, early 86. So this is Sheila E. having another moment in her career. First moment was the Glamorous Life era in 84, and the success of that single. Second big moment was this late 85, early 86 Krush Groove and A Love Bazaar success. So what is notable about Holly Rock? Well, one, it's basically a hip-hop song. It's a rap song. Sheila E. rap sings. Definitely not full singing voice that she uses for her other songs. It was very clearly meant for this type of film, a rap-based film, and a rap-based song is what a lot of these lyrics came from. A song that ended up being scrapped, a song called Feline, which was supposed to be on the Family's debut album, or at least considered for the Family's debut album. But St. Paul Peterson, who was the singer of the song, he has come out to say, yeah, there's a version with my vocals on it. He has sung on the song, but the song, if you've ever heard it or read the lyrics, it's pretty sexually explicit. It's kind of ridiculous in many ways. The lyrics of that song, Feline, is pretty bold, and I'm just trying to think of that being on the Family's debut album. It just would not have fit, I don't think. It's so brazen in its language and innuendos that are so upfront that they're barely even innuendos. They're just more explicit language that is being used. I don't know what Prince was thinking, trying to turn St. Paul Peterson into this oversexed Lothario, but bragging about the size of his dick, talking about how easily he can make women come. It's a thing. It's a thing. The right decision was made in not including that in the Family album. But some of the lyrics from Feline were repurposed. Feline would have been recorded in 1984, the same time the rest of the album ended up being recorded. So, a handful of months later, Prince repurposes some of the lines from Feline for Holly Rock. And I'll comment on those as they come up during the lyric dissection portion of the show. There's a few phrases in Holly Rock that Prince commonly used around this time. He used the word Holly Rock in the song Dream Factory, which was ultimately released as part of the Crystal Ball project in the late 90s, but would have been recorded in 1985, so the time frame fits. Holly Rock is the word that the Flintstones used to replace Hollywood, as a form of satire. They often would switch common phrases and language to make it sound more of their era, and creating new places based off of the fact that these are supposed to be cavemen and women from the Stone Age or the Paleolithic era. So Hollywood, Holly Rock, it's a pun, and how it applies to the song is a bit of a mystery. It's a bit of a mystery. The lyrics of this, of this song are more just like braggadocio type lyrics. It's a party song. It really vibes with the spirit of early rap. A lot of the early rap songs, besides a handful of songs like The Message by Grandmaster Flash and Melly Mel, that was the anomaly. There were less songs in the early 80s that actually said something. The Breaks by Curtis Blow was a song about, tough times. Run DMC had a few songs on their debut album from 1984 that were like that. But the vast majority of rap up to this point was simply, I call it the yes, yes, y'all rap. So it's just an MC standing on a stage, freestyling over, a DJ's breakbeats and scratches, designed to like hype a party up or get the crowd enthused. Party songs. And that's what Holly Rock to me is. There's not a lot of deep meaning here, or really any deep meaning here. But just going back to another call out. So Dead On It is a song that Prince recorded in 1987 that would have been on the Black Album. It includes a sample from Holly Rock as well. The Badder Than a Wicked Witch line that Sheila E. cites later in the song. So we'll go through the lyrics, but again, as I mentioned, there's not a lot of deep meaning to be gleaned from these lyrics. Rock, rock, holly rock, everybody want a holly rock. Say it. Rock, rock, holly rock, everybody want a holly rock. Somebody, there's a way to say it. Good God, hit me again. And at this point, Prince says there's a way to say it. Good God. And Sheila says there's a way to say it. Horns. And then you get a little bit of Eddie M's horns in that moment. I'm not going to go through every single example of where Prince's lyrics differed from Sheila E.'s, because most of those differences are in the ad-lib portions of the song. And that would be a very tedious process that I don't think anyone really wants to listen to. But I did want to highlight that one because it comes very early in the track where there's that difference. Come on over, baby, and dig the pop, a funky little thing called holly rock. It might be a dance, it might be a song, it might have you rockin', baby, all night long. Anybody want a holly rock? Take a little bit, you just can't stop. It's bad. Good God. Guaranteed to turn you out. All the little brothers gather around. I'm going to show you what holly rock's about. You're going to hear good God a lot in this song. It's just, yeah, I mean, it became kind of synonymous with Sheila E., largely because of this song. A lot of live performances, good God, would come up, and it's fun. It's a fun little callback, and whenever I hear that, I think of Sheila E., and of course, an extension of that is Prince, because Prince wrote the songs that, you know, that phrase came from. It might be a dance, it might be a song. It's not a super common thread for Prince songs of the era that could be considered ambiguous enough to be a dance or a song, like they call out holly rock. The Dance Electric, La Grind are a couple examples where, like, is it a dance or is it a song? It could be both. It is both, potentially. But yeah, as you can tell from the lyrics, they're really just party lyrics, guaranteed to turn you out. And the chorus is just the repeat of holly rock, good God. Sheila E's my name, holly rock's my game, I'm funky as I want to be. Line up 100, I swear to God, I'll rock 'em till they just can't see. Mass appeal, a little girl smile, I'll make you happy, baby, all the while, 'cause I'm bad, good God. And if you got a big enough stick, come on over, baby, to the holly rock, don't you want to learn a new trick? So in the Prince version, he says Sheila E's my name, holly rock's my game, so obviously Prince wrote this for Sheila E., included her name in it. This was never a song that was potentially intended for one artist and then ended up giving it to Sheila because, it just worked out that way, or the other artist passed on it, or whatever the case may be. This was a song for Sheila, and it was a song for Sheila to support her appearance in Krush Groove, the movie. So it had a very specific purpose, designed for a very specific performance in the movie. Here is where we get a little bit of sexual innuendo with the "if you've got a big enough stick" line. And this is a callback to, in my mind, a callback to the song The Stick from The Time, which was on their debut album from 81. So kind of a neat callback to a 4-year-old track at that point. And this is also where we get a little bit of the repurposed, recycled lyrics from Feline. At this point, I have no idea if I'll ever do a specific episode on Feline. I'm a little far away from doing unreleased family songs. I've been at this podcast for like 6 years now, and I'm still in the 80s. So yeah, it may or may not ever happen. But so if I ever do in 20 years or so, I'm covering Feline. I'll just go back and listen to my holly rock episode. But the lyrics that are repurposed, the original ones from Feline: St. Paul's my name, making love's my game, funky as I want to be. Line up 100, and I swear to God, I'll pump 'em till you just can't see. If I start an ocean or in a dry land, most women say I'm a hell of a man. When I come, it's not bye-bye. I won't give up till the river run dry. I ain't bragging, I got a foot long, and when I use it, it's never wrong. Oh, dear Lord. He also says, mass appeal, a little boy smile. I'll keep you happy, baby, all the while. Oh, thank God that song didn't get issued on the family album. Can you imagine the song like falling on the track listing between like Nothing Compares to You and Desire, or Nothing Compares to You and Susanna's Pajamas, or something like that? It's just ridiculous to think about, but I'm not here to talk about Feline, thank God. Good God. That would be painful. But maybe also hilarious, I don't know. Going back to Holly Rock. So yeah, that's all I really wanted to call out with that second verse. The similarities between this and Feline, how it was repurposed, line about this big enough stick, and inserting some innuendo, the slight changing, and the use of Sheila E.'s name, And then again, a lot of the lyrics in this next section repeat themselves from the second verse. She says, Sheila E's my name, Holly Rock's my game, as funky as I want to be. Lining up 100, I swear to God, I'll rock 'em till they just can't see, 'cause I'm bad, good God. Funkier than a wicked witch. I'll pet your kitty, your little dog too, don't you want to be my bitch? And sometimes in the Sheila E version, she'll censor herself, which I guess makes sense, considering she's the one that always said that she said funk instead of fuck in Erotic City. So self-censoring seems to be something Sheila E was pretty adept at. But yeah, only the second half of this verse is different than the second verse. And this whole funkier than a wicked witch is not what Sheila E says in her version, so that's just the Prince version that has funkier than a wicked witch, because in the song Feline, it's funky as I wanna be, is what St. Paul says. So Prince kept funky and then switched up the rest of the line, but then when it was Sheila E's turn to sing it, she says badder than a wicked witch, which I like better. Funkier than a wicked witch doesn't make a lot of sense, because of who says a wicked witch or a witch, whether good or wicked, is funky? That's not a phrase. But badder than a wicked witch, then you can consider the use of the word bad to mean, it's double meaning. Like the line in Peter Piper from Run DMC is not bad meaning bad, but bad meaning good. In this case, yes, badder than a wicked witch. So she's calling herself badass versus, being evil, like the wicked witch. Bad in terms of being naughty or evil. So that switch works better in my mind. And I'll pet your kitty and your little dog too. Again, the Wicked Witch and Wizard of Oz reference is pretty clear there. I'll get you my pretty, not kitty. I'll get you my pretty and your little dog too. I'll pet your kitty and your little dog too. And also, again, as repurposed lines from Feline, a song about this lover man that St. Paul is supposed to be playing in that song, the line, I'll pet your kitty, as an innuendo, a sexual innuendo, makes a lot more sense in Feline, I'll pet your kitty, than it does in Holly Rock. So sometimes the lines work better in Holly Rock, especially when they've been switched up, like badder than a wicked witch versus funky as I want to be, or funkier than a wicked witch. Sometimes they work not as well. I don't know exactly what Sheila's referring to when she says that she'll pet your kitty and your little dog too. Don't you want to be my bitch? I don't know. Maybe she's expressing some sexual fluidity in this song. Maybe intentional, unintentional, I don't know. It's a little odd. I'm just going to go with it though, because the way she performs it, it's pretty cool. And then we just get a lot more of the Holly Rocks repeating, a lot of ad-libbing from Prince and from Sheila E. And this is where a lot of the differences in the song can be identified. It's a lot of call and response type emceeing, or, you know, crowd participation, requiring crowd participation, call and response stuff. I can't hear you, you know, call it out, Holly Rock, everybody want a Holly Rock, and she says, what? So, you know, you're expecting the crowd to repeat the lines, and that's what the chorus essentially is Prince or Sheila E. saying the line, and then the crowd is supposedly repeating it. You get call-outs to Eddie M., Eddie blow your horn, and she makes a point in her version of the song of calling out Eddie by name as well. There's some cursing in the outro, or towards, you know, in the ad-lib version of Prince's song, or Prince's version of the song. He says things like the whole my toy box, I'm not bullshitting. She in the extended version of Sheila E.'s Holly Rock, I think I hear her say bullshitting, or it could be a case where she says something close to bullshitting, like bullin, or, you know, so again, self-censoring. It's not clear to me, and I didn't listen to it over and over and over again to make out whether or not she said bullshitting or not. And of course, there's the reference to My Toy Box, another Sheila E. song. There's the line that Prince says, all the little brothers gather around, who gonna fuck with that? Yeah, no, she doesn't say that at all. She doesn't say that at all. So that's why, just again, the differences in the ad-libs between the two versions are not, in my mind, significant enough to call out individually. Just know that if you're listening to Prince's version and then the extended 6+ minute version of Holly Rock single, the verses are going to, for the most part, be the same with the differences that I noted. But the ad-libbing portion, the call and response portion, is actually quite different. Yeah, so that's Holly Rock. I'm going to keep this episode fairly brief because, again, as a lyrics podcast, Holly Rock doesn't offer a lot of double meanings or deep dissection. It's a party song with party lyrics. And, you know, it does have some interesting backstory with the repurposed lyrics from an unreleased family, a ridiculous unreleased family song, Feline. And they were definitely better put to use in Holly Rock. Holly Rock wasn't a big hit for Sheila E., even though it, you know, the performance in the movie is fun. A Love Bazaar certainly was the more popular song between the two that were competing for airplay and popularity at the time in early '86. But I think nonetheless, you know, the Prince version is also fun. There was an animated video that was created along with the release of originals for this song. I'm not sure why they chose to do that for Holly Rock versus some of the other ones. Maybe because this song wasn't a big hit for Sheila, so it's almost like a new song to some listeners. They don't have the distinct memories of hearing Sheila E.'s Glamorous Life, or Sinead O'Connor's Nothing Compared to You, or you know, the Times' Jungle Love, or any of the other really big hits that Prince wrote, you know, Manic Monday by the Bangles. Releasing those Prince's versions of those songs sound so much like the final tracks. Maybe not so much Nothing Compares to You. That was redone quite differently between The Family and Sinead. But nonetheless, those songs are so tied to those artists' careers, and so still played on the radio quite frequently today. I hear all of them all the time on the radio, on like 80 stations and R&B stations. But I don't ever hear Holly Rock. So maybe that was why the estate decided to release a video, not release as a single, but release a video for Holly Rock, because, you know, it's kind of a uncovered gem, not by definition of an unreleased track or, you know, a deep cut, but not a song that I think a lot of casual Prince fans were familiar with. So it allowed maybe some newer Prince fans to hear this song for the first time. I like Holly Rock. It's an enjoyable performance. I like the differences between Sheila's and Prince's versions. And great job. Nothing more to say for that. This has been the Press Rewind Prince Lyrics podcast. I've been your host, Jason Brenninger. You can find the show at pressrewind.net and social media platform of your choice. Check it out. And until next time, thank you very much, and goodbye.